Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I am going to be talking about the wisdom of Yoda, and specifically one line that he said in Empire Strikes Back. So Luke Skywalker has come to Dagobah to find a great Jedi warrior who will train him, and Luke thinks it's going to be in the ways of war, right? So Yoda greets Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker doesn't know it's Yoda. And then in Yoda's hut, as Yoda is serving Luke soup, we hear Yoda begin to talk to Obi-Wan. And so two Jedis have a conversation. Obi-Wan, who is now passed, and he is speaking as a ghost. And Yoda, who is very much alive, he's an older Jedi, and he says the following line about Luke Skywalker. He says, always looking away to the future, to the horizon, never his mind on where he was, what he was doing. All right. Now, the reason I'm going to talk about this specific line is I've realized, I've actually taken this piece of advice and actually applied it in my actual life. I do it all the time now, and when I start to drift, I think about Yoda's words, and they're very useful, right? So the reason I started to think about this line very seriously and actually incorporate it into things I was actually doing in my life was that I had made a mistake with my older son, Xavier. So my older son, Xavier, he's just a wonderful kid. This year, he's gonna graduate from university with a bachelor's, and he'll be graduating with a mathematics and computer science degree. It's a nice, solid STEM degree. Very proud of him. He's just a great kid. And now, before he went to college, almost 4 years ago, for no less than 6 or I think it was about 7 years, Xavier and I, every Friday night, went to Magic the Gathering, F&M, Friday Night Magic. This turned out to be, this started like probably when he was in 6th grade, maybe 5th grade. And I think the first set that we were playing was like Alaria. And it was actually probably a set or two before that. And so we went to Magic the Gathering together. And Magic the Gathering, for anybody who doesn't know, is a collectible card game. It is the collectible card game. It started the entire genre. Today, it's incredibly powerful. Stores all over the country now run this game, and they run tournaments. And every Friday night, you can go and play Friday Night Magic in one of the best organized play systems that has ever been created, right? Now, this turned out to be incredibly important for me and for Xavier, right? The reason why is it turned, without a doubt, my son has two primary hobbies. One is anime, and the other is Magic the Gathering. So I would say that Magic the Gathering is his second most favorite pastime. Video games are in there too, but I definitely, it's definitely in the top 3 likes that he has, right? And it may be the number 1, right? The only difference is it's a lot easier to consume anime than it is to play Magic the Gathering. You need a group of people, so I think the only reason he may actually play Magic less than he watches anime is just accessibility, right? So basically, we would go every week, and we made friends there at Friday Night Magic. And then some of the friends, we started to go together, and we started kind of a tradition where we would go after Friday Night Magic. So we'd play no less than 3 or 4 hours playing Friday Night Magic, Magic the Gathering. And then we would go to an Applebee's or a diner, and we would get some dinner, and we would talk. And there, Xavier met one of his best friends ever, someone who became a friend of mine for a while. And, that person is still an important person in Xavier's life today. They talk, and it's one of Xavier's best friends, right? So a lot of good things came out of Magic the Gathering. The other thing that I would say came out of Magic the Gathering for both him and me is if you play Magic the Gathering for a long period of time, you will grow a tolerance for game complexity that is unprecedented, right? It's just so high, it's incredible, right? Like, there are a lot of games where we'll sit down to play something with someone or a group of people, and the group of people would start tracking it. It's not that they're not intelligent. They are intelligent. It just takes a while to pick stuff up. But when you've seen Magic, the complexity of Magic, it's ridiculously complex. And so your tolerance for high complexity goes way, way up, right? So there's a lot of benefits that have come from Magic. Well, in the last 2 or 3 years of Magic, my interest in the game really waned, right? But I knew this was important to Xavier. So as his parent, I was still going to Friday Night Magic. We were still going to Applebee's. I funded those dinners 100%. And, and so it was, and I didn't want to take away from something that was important for him, right? And my kids, they kind of drug their feet on learning how to drive, which, no problem. I don't have any problem with that. And so they couldn't go on their own, right? And so what I would do is I would go, and when I was at Magic the Gathering, I would bring a writing project, or I would bring a book to read, or I would even bring a tabletop role-playing game, like Pocket Mod. I played Pocket Mod with some people, and I did all these things while I was at Magic the Gathering, other than Magic the Gathering, right? Because my interest in the game had waned, right? And that was very foolish. It was very foolish. When you're in the moment, it's hard to see things, right? But with some perspective, especially when Xavier went to college, I thought, oh my goodness, there was times that I was spending with him that if I had just kept my focus on the game and seen the parts that I could enjoy of the game, it would have been better. And, I should have stayed focused on Friday Night Magic and been there 100% for Xavier. I think I was there 50%, you know what I mean? Now, as a friend or someone who is facilitating something for someone else, because there is a parent-son relationship between me and Xavier, but I think this is the same for friends as well. Like, if you share a hobby with a friend and your interest in that hobby wanes, you need to listen to Yoda. The real interest is the person. It's not the hobby, and so one of the things is I wasn't in the moment. I was looking to the horizon. I was looking to the future, just like Luke Skywalker, right? I was looking to other things. I wasn't focused on where I was. I wasn't focused on what I was doing, right? And that was a mistake, and I can see that clearly now. Now, if you're in the same situation with either a friend or a child, or in some way, you could do 3 things, right? You could check out and just say, hey, I'm not interested in this anymore, and go away, right? You can do what I did, be half there. And then the other thing is you can push through and you can be 100% engaged, even when you're not, you can be 95% engaged. The issue is you can push through and just stay focused, stay in the moment, stay in that hobby, and just realize, your life goes through seasons, and if your interest in a hobby wanes, it's not likely that your interest in that person has waned, and that you want to remain engaged and doing activities with that person, right? So one of the things I've done is I now play Pokemon trading card game with my youngest son Logan on Sundays, and and I'm 100% there, right? I'm right in. Every week I actually jump in and I play the game, right? Now, I will say there are 3 types of parents that are interacting with those leagues. There are parents who their kids want to go and they are not taking them, and that is lame. There are parents who go and just, and don't play the game and just set up their Macintosh and sit around for 2 hours and wait for their kids. That's half lame, but it's half awesome. It's better than doing nothing. And so thumbs up to those parents, for trying and doing something and powering through, right? And doing something. And then there's parents who just jump right in and they actually play the game with their kids, and they're engaged with the activity, and they engage with that community. And that's the way to be. I really think that's the way to be. And that's Yoda's advice, is him, looking at the situation and saying, and I see it now. I see what Yoda said, right? that when you're involved in something, right, there's a people, there's a place, and there's a purpose. There's a purpose why those people are there. There's a purpose why that place was built and why it's serving in that particular function at that moment, right? And there's a purpose overall for you being there at that very moment. That purpose might be another person. That purpose might be to learn about one element of that hobby or that thing or that event, right? But, my point is, if you go to a place and you're engaged in a thing, really be 100%, even if your mind and your heart are not there. Push through and be engaged, because the rewards for that are tremendous. And the rewards for just showing up is better than doing nothing, but it's not where you can be. It's not where you can land. And so, don't always looking away to the future, to the horizon, always looking away to the future, to the horizon. His mind never on where he was, what he was doing. Yoda was absolutely wise, and it was great advice. And I think that, is something I really want to continue to remember. And also just a wonderful thing to realize how many dividends we still get from the Star Wars movies. Star Wars movies are really incredible, and I just really love that saying from Yoda, and I'm really trying to live it every day. Take care.